Hi friends, with the Dark Depths event arriving on Thursday, I thought it would be fun to look back at the entire history of events that we've had during the seasons of Apex Legends so far. This includes all collection events, anniversary events, and thematic events. I feel like these are a great reminder of the fun times we've had in Apex Legends. This will be a long video, so I'll put timestamps to jump to if you're interested in a certain season. You might also want to play some Apex while having this video in the background. So let's go right back to the start of Apex Legends, February 13th, 2019 to be precise, for what is technically the first ever event we've had in Apex Legends. Although it wasn't really a proper event, it was more of a minor event in the form of Valentine's Day. It took place during the pre-season of Apex Legends. The event ended on the 19th of February. For context, Apex Legends had just launched a few days prior to this event, and so there really wasn't much content involved with the Valentine's Day event apart from a couple of skins, and you can see the store was quite bare back then. Jumping forward to season 1 of Apex Legends, we arrive in the 4th of June 2019 to get our first ever themed event called Legendary Hunt. It brought us the first limited time game mode called the Apex Elite Queue, where you would join a special elite queue if you place in the top 5 squads in a normal game. Once in the elite queue, if you continue to place in the top 5 squads, then your run in the elite queue continues. Also, the ring closes faster and the out of bounds damage is increased, but otherwise it's pretty much a normal game of Apex Legends. I would say this was our first taste of a ranked like game mode in Apex Legends, and there were even 2 cool badges up for grabs: the Elite Streak badge showing how long your elite queue streak was, and the rare 888 badge where you had to get 8 Apex Elite Queue matches with 8 different legends with at least 8 different kills in each game. Back then there were only 9 legends in the game, plus Gibraltar and Caustic were pretty trash. So to get this badge was a decent achievement, and to this day it's definitely one of the rarest badges. This event also brought a bunch of skins as normal, along with a Legendary Hunt badge. The next event came during Season 2, on August the 13th, 2019. This was our first collection event, called the Iron Crown. Being a collection event, it meant we got a new heirloom for the first time, as prior to this, Wraith Heirloom was the only heirloom you could get your hands on. This event brought us Bloodhound's Heirloom, along with 24 collection event items. This was the first time we got special collection event items in the game as well. You even got 2 free event packs available through completing challenges in this event, something we don't see these days because nowadays you have to buy all 24 items. One thing you might have forgotten is you did have to buy the heirloom though. Unlike today where you get it for free after buying / collecting all 24 event items, back then you actually had to pay 3,500 Apex coins to get Bloodhound's heirloom. The event also brought solos as a limited time game mode, as well as Octane's Gauntlet as the first ever town takeover we saw. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish they brought solos back. Season 2 also brought us another event later on, making it the first season to have 2 events in one season. The second event was the Voidwalker thematic event on September the 3rd, 2019, and this introduced us to Wraith's story from the Outlands, which was epic, and this was the first time we got to see a specific lore story for an existing legend. In this event we got a bunch of themed skins, including the legendary Voidwalker skin, that is still one of the best skins in the game today. We also got Wraith Town takeover in the form of Sing Labs. I must say, Season 2 was a good season for content. 2 town takeovers in one season, that's pretty cool. With the Voidwalker event, we also got Armed and Dangerous as the LTM. This was a shotguns and sniper only mode where you only started with level 1 body armor. Back in those days, don't forget, we didn't have Evo armor, and this was also in the days before you landed with armor, meaning for most parts of this game mode, you would be running around without any body shield. I am a big fan of Armed and Dangerous, and I would love it to see return as an LTM, perhaps in Season 12 or beyond. Moving on to Season 3 for the next event, we had the Fight or Fright collection event. The heirloom for this collection event was Lifelines. This was the first time where you would get the heirloom set for free once you collected all 24 items. Now I should say free in inverted commas because obviously collecting all 24 items first will cost money. The LTM for this event was Shadowfall. This was a cool mode where you became a shadow when you died. It was a solo rather than squads based mode, and your goal was to get to the dropship before the shadows could kill you. It was fun at first, but if you remember, this mode was kind of bad towards the end because you'd get loads of people leaving when they became shadows. Basically, shadows were really easy to kill, so I think people just got bored being a shadow for too long. As normal during this event, you got challenges, cosmetics, and badges. Now for the next event, I'm not really sure if you would class it as an event, but we had the Black Friday sale, which ran from the 26th of November during Season 3. This was a store-only event that had discounts on the store. Oh, fun fact, early in the month before this sale, duos went live in the game for a limited time, between the 5th of November and the 19th of November. It wasn't part of an event, but it was just put in the game for a limited time on its own. Our next event in Season 3 was the Hollow Day Collection event, which came on the 12th of December. This event brought us Pathfinder's Heirloom, making Season 3 the first season to give us 2 heirlooms. The skins in this event were really cool, possibly some of the best skins we've seen. You've got to love the Gibraltar teddy bear skin. It's still one of my favourite and most entertaining skins I see today. In addition to Pathfinder's Heirloom, we also got a new town takeover in the form of Mirage Voyage. I miss that place. It was an awesome town takeover. We did also get a new LTM called Winter Express. Yes, back then, Winter Express was completely new, but I probably don't need to explain this one, given that we've seen it return 3 times already up to date. I can remind you though that Winter Express was the first time we saw preset loadouts as a thing in Apex Legends. Oh yeah, fun side fact, the update for this event also added weapon charms to the game for the first time, and it increased the level cap from 100 to 500. Moving on, Grand Soiree was the themed event for Season 3 that arrived on January the 14th, 2020, towards the end of Season 3, after they increased the length of the season. This was a great event. It was a themed event, so there was no heirloom, but it did bring 7 LTMs, plus a bunch of skins and challenges. These LTMs were Gold Rush Duos, Live Die Live, Third Person Mode, Always Be Closing, Armed and Dangerous, King's Canyon After Dark, and Dummy's Big Day. This is the most LTMs we've ever had in one event before, that's for sure, and I kind of wish they would do something similar again. Grand Soiree was the last event for Season 3, and we have to look to Season 4 for the next event, which was Valentine's Day Rendezvous. This was another minor event similar to the previous Valentine's Day event. It even brought back the same pink longbow skin from the previous year. We also got duos back for a limited time again as an LTM. System Override came later in Season 4 on the 3rd of March 2020, and this was a collection event which gave us Octane's Heirloom, plus the usual 24 collection event items, as well as challenges and a prize track. The LTM with this event was Deja Loot. In this mode, you drop with permanent preset loot, as well as daily care package drops, dropship routes, and ring locations. This was also the first time we saw Evo shields in Apex Legends. The Old Ways arrived later in Season 4 on April the 7th, 2020. This themed event brought Bloodhound's story from the Outlands that gave us a good look at Bloodhound's past, and to this day is one of my favourite stories from the Outlands that we've ever had. In this event, we also saw Bloodhound's Trials arrive as the town takeover. This featured the first PvE element in Apex Legends, with the Prowlers. There was no LTM with this event, but duos did become a permanent game mode with this patch. And the Old Ways rounded out Season 4 as the last event. Moving on to Season 5, for the next event, we had the Lost Treasures collection event, and this brought us Mirage's Heirloom to the game, a statue of himself nonetheless. We did also get a town takeover in the form of Crypto's Map Room, which is a really cool town takeover that allows you to scan the whole map and see where enemies are. We did also get an LTM in the form of Armed and Dangerous Evolved. This was a fun take on the previously released Armed and Dangerous, because in this game mode, you only had mobile respawn beacons, as well as Evo armor as the only armor. Remember, up to this point, both regular armor and Evo armor were both in the game. The Summer of Plunder sale also took place during Season 5. Now, it was a store-only event, much like the Black Friday sale, so I'm not sure if you would class it as an event. This would, however, round out Season 5. Jumping to Season 6 for the next event, we had the September Soiree on September the 8th, 2020. It brought back Dummy's Big Day, King's Canyon After Dark, Armed and Dangerous, and Live Die Live from previous events. If I remember correctly, there was a bug that crashed the game if people went AFK during this event, but it was still fun to have a bunch of LTMs to play through. Following September Soiree, Aftermarket was the first main collection event on October the 6th, and this arrived midway through Season 6. The event event brought us Caustic's Heirloom, and the LTM for this event was Flashpoint. This was a mode where you had healing zones as the only place to heal. Don't forget, cross-platform was also introduced for the first time as a permanent feature for the game during this event. Up to this point, consoles were single platform only, meaning Xbox players and PlayStation players couldn't play with each other, nor with PC players. It's crazy to think that before this, we were stuck playing on our single platform, and this was only just over a year ago. It's amazing how things change over time. On October the 13th, 2020, still during Season 6, there was an optional in-game event called a Wii Experiment, where you could activate some gravity lifts on the map and complete challenges to obtain a key card. This would allow you to ultimately watch a video message in the firing range, which was from Horizon. Of course, this was a teaser for Horizon being the new Season 7 legend, and was the first time we really got to see in-game events that you could take part in challenges actually in the game. On October the 22nd, 2020, Vital Fright came back as a themed event for Halloween. This brought us the LTM of Shadow Royale, an adaptation of the previous Shadowfall LTM that we saw the Halloween the year before. I definitely think this was a good improvement on the game mode, and it certainly encouraged people to stay as shadows and enjoy the game for longer. Of course, like all themed events, it also brought challenges, badges and skins. This marked the last event of Season 6. We now look to Season 7 for the next events. Of course, we had the Black Friday sale early on in Season 7, similar to the one the previous year, and again this was a store-only event. The Holiday Bash followed in Season 7, starting on the 1st of December. Once again, we saw Winter Express game mode return as an LTM. As this was a themed event, it also brought a bunch of Christmas skins, including a number of returning skins from the previous Christmas. Fight Night was the main event in Season 7 and took place in 2021. It was a collection event, so brought us Gibraltar's Heirloom. The Fight Night cinematic also came with this event and gave us a great look at Pathfinder's history and where his love of boxing comes from. The town takeover was for Pathfinder as well, and it's probably one of the best town takeovers that we've had. It introduced a cool new concept, a boxing ring that is melee only. We also got an LTM called Airdrop Escalation Takeover. Now this was the first time in Apex Legends that we've seen a playlist takeover rather than a separate playlist for an LTM. A takeover is literally where an LTM takes over the normal duos and trios rather than being a separate LTM option. Of course, you get a bunch of skins and challenges with this event, and probably one of my favourite Pathfinder skins in the form of Memoir Noir. By the way, loot Marvins were also added to Olympus during this event as a permanent feature. Before this event, they weren't spread out all over the map. The next event came in Season 8. We got the Anniversary Collection event on the 9th of February 2021, and this marked 2 years of Apex Legends. The collection event was slightly different as it brought back anniversary recolors of popular skins from previous events. It also gave you heirloom shards instead of a new heirloom, allowing you to pick up an existing heirloom from the store with your 150 heirloom shards. The best thing about this event is that the crafting metal cost for event items were a lot cheaper than normal. It was 400 for an epic and 1200 for a legendary. This meant you could save a lot of money on the normal cost of an heirloom. We did also get an LTM takeover with Season 8's Anniversary Collection event. This was locked and loaded. Not long after the Anniversary Collection event, we got the Chaos Theory Collection event. This arrived on the 9th of March 2021 and gave us Bangalore's Heirloom along with Caustic's Town Takeover. There were quite a few game updates with this event, including heat shields, which were added as a permanent feature to the game, as well as a survival slot, which allowed you to hold heat shields and mobile respawn beacons without taking space in your backpack. No-fill matchmaking was also added, so those of you that like to solo queue were able to use this as a new feature. Don't forget, before this collection event, no-fill just didn't exist. A month later, on April the 13th, 2021, still part of Season 8, the War Games themed event arrived. Now this brought us, as normal, a bunch of skins and challenges, but it also brought us 4 LTMs. We got Second Chance, Armor Regen, Ultra Zones, and Auto Banners. Well, I say 4, technically there was supposed to be 5 because Killing Time was also advertised, but ended up being saved for a later event due to some issues. Now these issues were mainly with Second Chance and Auto Banners, and included things like stats not tracking after the players respawned, and this was happening because the game essentially thought the player was still dead. War Games closed out Season 8, and we have to look to Season 9 for our next set of events. We started getting a bunch of arena flash events in Season 9, given that arena mode had just come to the game as a new mode, and these flash events would continue through Season 10. All these gave you were rewards for completing arena based challenges, so I'm not really sure if you can call them full on events, but at least it was something. The first real event of Season 9 was the Genesis Collection event, starting on the 29th of June 2021. This event brought us Revenant's Heirloom. The standout skin was probably the Bangalore skin, which was a really cool space-like skin. We also got the return of the OG Legacy maps as an LTM town takeover. This was a chance to experience the joy and craziness that was Skull Town, something that we hadn't seen for a very long time. Unfortunately, there was no town takeover with this event though. Just before the end of Season 9, we got the Thrill Seekers event. The thematic event also featured the Summer Splash sale. This is probably the smallest thematic event we've had because they only introduced a new map in the form of Overflow and then a few skins and challenges. This meant Season 9 was the first season since Season 6 to not introduce a town takeover. The first event in Season 10, apart from some arena flash events and a store sale, was the Evolution Collection event on September the 14th, 2021. We got Rampart's Heirloom in this event along with her town takeover on World's Edge called Big Maud. Now this event was basically a Rampart event because she also received a bunch of buffs, including one that made her minigun mobile. Before this you could only place it as a stationary ultimate, and this was a significant buff. Unfortunately there was no LTM with this event though. Moving on September the 29th, still during Season 10, we had the Old Ways New Dawn event. Now this was an optional in-game event, much like the previous Horizon teaser in Season 6, and this event allowed you to go through the game doing certain challenges and at the same time learn more about Bloodhound's story on World's Edge. And completing this event, you would ultimately end up with an epic cutscene at the end, as well as 3 Bloodhound thematic packs for completing this. The thematic packs were guaranteed Bloodhound specific items or skins. The second event of Season 10 was a thematic event called Monsters Within. This was the first thematic event to bring 40 thematic event items to the normal loot pool. Shadow Royale also returned as the LTM, but to be honest, there wasn't much difference for this LTM compared to the previous year. Encore was also a new map that was introduced during this event as a permanent map for arena mode. And that's kind of it for this event. Apart from the normal challenges and store items, we didn't get much more. The next event would take place in Season 11. There were a couple of minor store events which included the market sale, which had specific market skins based on the clothing brand, as well as a Black Friday sale. But the first main event for Season 11 was the Raiders Collection event on December the 7th, 2021, and this actually just finished not so long ago. As this event came around Christmas time, it brought back the Winter Express game mode. There is only a very slight change in terms of how the loadouts were done for Legends, but otherwise it was pretty much the same Winter Express that we've seen in previous years. We also got the Watson Heirloom. Sadly, there was no LTM with this event though. The final event for Season 11 is the Dark Depths event taking place on Tuesday, the 11th of January 2022. The Dark Depths event brings 40 items that go into the normal loot pool, much like the Monsters Within thematic event did in Season 10. It also brings another new arena map called Habitat. Habitat is another island like Stormpoint on the planet Gaia. It's in the same constellation of islands as Stormpoint, so it has a very similar look to Stormpoint. Aside from the new arena map, some challenges with rewards and skins / items, there isn't much more to this event. That means unfortunately there's no town takeover and no new LTM, meaning Season 11 is the third successive season to not bring a new LTM to Apex Legends. Do check out my video on Thursday to hear why this might be the case. The Dark Depths event takes us through to Season 12, where I expect we'll get to see 2 collection events, 1 anniversary event and 1 collection event, plus I'm hoping a whole bunch of LTMs in Season 12. Ultimately that brings us up to today. You can see we've had a ton of events over the years in Apex Legends, so for those that say we've not had any content in Apex Legends since it launched, I guess just watch this video and you'll get your answer. If I look back on things, I would say System Override and Lost Treasures were my favourite events, I think, although Fight Night is probably up there as well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this recap. Maybe it's a reminder for you about some of the great times you've had in Apex Legends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.